So in another episode of Connecting Dot, we are here with Mr. Chhabda, who is the co-president of Tourism Board here in Gujarat, and also the owner of Silver Cloud Hotel. So let's hear from him the entire journey, how he has made this hotel and became the co-president here. So over to you, sir. How are you doing?
Doing great.
So I wanted to understand deep dive into journey, how you started into this hotel industry, and what was the core reason why you came into this industry.
Yeah, I'm basically electrical engineer, MBA. I was serving with the local electricity company here. In 2003, I resigned and I entered into real estate. Now, as a part of real estate, I bought this particular land where we are sitting here now. When I bought the land at that time, it was not in my mind to build a hotel. But when I procured the land, and then I do some techno-feasible analysis, then I found that this location is best suited for the hotel because airport is very near. It is hardly 6.5 kilometers from this location.
Okay.
Railway station is around 3 kilometers. At that time, the work of riverfronts that was under operation. And at that time, I just went to the adjoining building. It was the ground plus 2-story building, and from the terrace, I found that there was a small water pond I could see, and the work of riverfront was undergoing. So I thought in future there will be the good development of the riverfront also. So I decided to go for hotel. And at that time, I was not having any experience of any hotel industry because my entire experience was together in the different field. So I started building hotel. And at that time, I thought I should build a 3-star hotel. And accordingly, I planned the different thing. And majority of the thing, even planning, even architectural planning, and technical planning, electricity, air conditioning, all other planning were done by me because at that time, even I was not having that kind of money.
Okay.
So I was reasonably good, but I was not having that huge money at that time. So I did many of the exercises by myself. I did the techno-feasibility study by myself. And then we started building the hotel. And after, we can say, after some point, I appointed an interior designer who was having some experience of the hotel industry. And we together, we built this particular hotel. Now, this was, we started in around 2008 or 9. Started the construction of this hotel.
Project was started.
Project 2009 January, to be very specifically. And in 2010 October, we started this hotel. Now, there is another history. Before, in around March or April 2010, when I got the building use permission, in fact, I sold this particular property to someone.
You sold it already?
I decided to, because at that time I was not having any experience of the hotel.
Okay.
And that deal was struck. It was between me and very powerful politician of the Gujarat. So when I got the BU, then I conveyed them, now everything is through. And due to some reason, the deal was not through.
Okay.
So I retained the hotel. I started operating the hotel.
It was the will or it was the force?
At that time, it was you cannot say the force because I am quite educated person and I was having very good experience at the local electricity company.
Okay.
So I know what is the organization structure, what are the communication channel, what are the rules and regulation of the one organization sector. And another thing, hotel has always fascinated me in one way, because this is the only industry where you have everything which I have studied into the MBA. I can apply here.
Yes.
Here there is a F&B production is there. Predominantly it is a service industry, so service is there. You require a lot of technical thing, internet, electricity, RO, laundry, and number of technical things are there.
Correct.
you requires the very good marketing, you require sales. So it is the
Mix of all.
it is the you can say industry where you require all kind of skill.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by all such thing basically. But to be very honestly, when I started building the hotel, I was not knowing what is the housekeeping, what is the back office, what is the front office, what are the critical issues of the hotel industry. So I go along with the flow, and we were blessed and we were fortunate enough that we could build a good hotel. And we started in 2010. Once we started, then I realized that there are many deficiencies into this particular hotel. So at that time, we were having 48 rooms only. There were so many deficiencies here. So we procured the adjoining flats. There were 12 flats.
Okay.
So I procured all the flats.
Because you required more rooms.
More rooms, as well as at that time I was not having proper banqueting facilities,
Okay.
proper conferencing facilities. Currently in this hotel, we are having 74 rooms, 6 conference halls, 3 large banquet halls, columnless, with good height, 1 terrace garden. So in total, I am having the 10 avenues for that revenue basically.
Yeah.
So, and we are having 74 rooms. Currently, it is classified 4-star hotel. So the business model is pretty balanced. So we are getting the revenue from the rooms also. We are getting revenue from conference. Sometimes there is in marriage season, we are getting good revenue from the banquets also. So in totality, when we started, then initially for 3 months it was, you can say it was very difficult for us, because at that time there was no pre-opening marketing from our end basically.
Okay.
We started very abruptly.
Because you were going into the deal, wanted to sell the hotel.
The deal was cancelled in the month of April. I started in October. But even at that time, it was, you can understand, when I was not knowing anything about the hotel industry. Now to find out the appropriate staff, to find out the appropriate GM, to find out the housekeeper, and n number of things. And when you are starting a hotel, you have to test n number of things.
Correct.
Where your housekeeping should be in order, your front office should be in order, your F&B, your internet, your hot water, cold water, telecom system, entire thing should be in order. Security, purchase, and n number of things are there. So I was bogged down into all such areas basically. So
marketing was not in the priority list then.
but let me tell you, first 3 months only till October and November, to be very precisely. And we were fortunate at that time. I think in the month of December, there was Epicon conference.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was huge demand. And God has favored me throughout my journey. So let me tell you, I am very blessed person. I will share you one example. When we were building the hotel, I was thinking what should be the tariff of my hotel. So I was a little bit confused. Now, when the hotel was under construction, the one pharma representative came to me, and he was desperate to have the entire hotel during the Epicon.
Okay.
So all the way he climbed up to my terrace. At that time, I was working at the terrace. Hotel was under construction. I am talking of 2010. And he was insisting me, Chhabda ji, give me the rooms and I need rooms. To be very honestly, even at that time, I was not sure whether I will be in a position to operate the hotel, to start the hotel from that particular date.
Yeah.
So just to avoid him, at that time, I told him that my rate is 4,500 rupees. And he said, okay. So that's how we fixed the rate at that time. So entire thing was decided by, you can say, by destiny. I had not applied anything from my end. I just abruptly, on the little bit higher side, I quoted, and due to the high demand period, he accepted. And that's where we decided the tariff of the hotel. And it was accepted by the market also. First 2 months was the loss making. Then after, I have never turned back. And as per this is another thing of this hotel. We do continuous upgradation Then we are not waiting for we will wait for 2 years, 3 years or 5 years, then we will revamp or we will do the upgradation. That is not the funda of this hotel. I am having the good amount of people in the maintenance department, even in-house carpenters, plumber, painter, electricians, and upgradation, renovation, wherever we find something to be done, wherever there is some problem, we do not hesitate, and that is a continuous, you can say, practice of this particular hotel. We don't wait to deteriorate the thing up to certain level and then do the entire revamping of the hotel.
So, sir, this journey is very overwhelming to look at because जितना भी आपने मेरे को बताया from being not understanding hospitality to becoming a successful hotelier, जहाँ पे 2 महीने के लॉस के बाद आप भी आपने बोला कि that I am doing perfectly okay, right? Now you have understood that what hotels take from you. What has went in? आपने जितनी इसमें मेहनत लगाई, जितना सब कुछ किया. What is your idea if someone is in their another business, like कोई reality में है, कोई development कर रहा है या फिर कोई land owner है? Do you think that this industry has a lot of things to offer? अगर कल को किसी और business के लोगों को इस industry में आना है, what is your suggestions or advice to them?
See, any business, there is always fundamental of economics. It always works on demand and supply.
Yeah.
Particularly in Ahmedabad, the market is very bullish. Because there are a number of developments are going on. Government is also very proactive, particularly on the tourism and the other events which are coming here in Gujarat. Now, currently, the government has done the tie-up with the Filmfare Awards.
Yes.
So, then they are trying to have the Olympics here in 2036.
Yeah.
So, Vibrant Gujarat will be here. Kite Festival is here. And government is also doing so many activities to attract the tourists, to attract the business entrepreneurs into the Ahmedabad.
Okay.
Overall also, now due to the corona, there was some sluggish. Now, let me take it another way. During the corona time also, we did fantastically well.
Okay.
This was the only hotel, I think, which might have done the profit during the corona time also. We shifted our entire focus on the food.
Okay. So everything was on to food.
We supplied approximately 5 lakhs food parcel to civil hospital, 108 ambulance, and other required corporates during that time.
And this was strategically moved from you?
Strategically moved, definitely. We when we came to know that there is such requirement, so we have been approached by the authorities, and at that time we took reasonable amount of risk because the rate which was offered, that was not, we can say, I could not digest that rate.
It was on the lower side.
Quite lower side.
Okay.
But even though, we thought as just we don't have anything else to do, so let us do. There were 2 aspects. One is the whatever the money we are getting, and another thing, as in our religion we have been taught to do the seva.
Yeah.
So we thought that even though we may not be earning, but we will be doing some good thing to the society and to the patients, because at that time it was very horrible for the patients to get the good food. And even the hospitals, the doctors can treat the patient, but they cannot manage the entire food. Daily we were supplying around 2,000 food parcels 8 times a day to the civil hospital. So you can imagine 2,000 food parcel. In each food parcel, daily we were preparing around 14,000 rotis manually. Manual rotis from here.
आपके पास और staff लगा होगा फिर से?
The staff was with me. This another thing. We are having the staff quarter.
Okay.
So almost 50% of the staff of this hotel, that stays with me always, and I am giving them the staff quarter for the men and for the women both. So, if you are asking me if after at midnight also, if you awake me and told me at 3 a.m. you need to do the function of 500%, I can do it because I am having the staff in my own staff quarters. So they are always available to me. So, and they were, in fact, when the corona started, initially for 15 days, when we had not started this particular thing, at that time my staff was at Thaltej Govindham Gurudwara. They were preparing the food for the these laborers which were going to their hometown during the corona time. So we were preparing them food parcels and everything for them. And I think till the 15th April we were there. And from 20th April, we started working with the civil hospital and 108 ambulance, then 13 Rath. There were other hospitals, but the main thing was that we may not, at that time when we decided to work, we thought it is a loss-making proposition.
Yeah.
The rate was very low, and we have to supply food 8 times a day for a single patient. So I am saying 2,000 food parcel means 2,000 into 8, 16,000 per day, since morning 6 a.m. to night 9 p.m. So even transportation, food, and at that time it was very difficult to procure the food, procure the vegetable. I had to send my vehicle to Sanand, Himmatnagar, Prati, everywhere to get the vegetables. And my salute to my staff. On 20th April, we started hotel also for the doctors of the civil hospital. Now you can imagine on 24th March, there was a lockdown by our Honorable Prime Minister. And on 20th April, I was the first who started the hotel in Gujarat. And my staff was there. You can imagine during that time when doctors are giving their clothes for the laundry, and my laundrymen were washing those clothes and giving them. It was a fabulous job done by my staff, and I always appreciated them.
Right.
And we are having very, as on date, we are having very cordial relation with, it's a family, it's not my staff. So due to their continuous cooperation and the hard working, only we could achieve this particular thing. So because of that, during Corona also, we did very good. In fact, my turnover was higher than the previous year.
Wow.
Because of this particular thing. And surprisingly, when the volume was so high, what we thought that this is a loss-making proposition, in fact, it turned out to be the very good profit-making proposition.
Because the volume was very high.
Volume was very high. So when first phase was over, when second phase was there. So during when second phase was there, then there were many operators and the players into the market. They wanted to do the same thing. They wanted to supply the food to the industry, this civil hospital and other thing. At that time, civil hospital further reduced the price. And they called me. So I told them last time I delivered the foods. And now at this time you can give it to any other person. I don't have any issue. I am happy. So after half an hour, the dean of the civil hospital called me. Chhabda ji, people are ready to do the business at the lower rate which we are offering. But we want, you should do it. Because my entire staff is saying when we are calling them, even at 11 p.m. or at the midnight, they are available at our hospital. When we are asking for even only for 5 food parcels, they are delivering the 5 food parcels. So they have never said no. And if we will give to any other person, then we may have some problem. So then on the request of the dean, I again supplied in the second wave also. So we earned the good name at that time. We have to supply 5 food parcels. Then transportation cost was more than the food cost. But even though we have never said no. Because that was the need of that particular hour. At that time, earning money was not important. But
the cost was important.
In spite of that, because of the large volume, we earned.
So basically, आपने cost के लिए काम किया and God has seen for the profits and got gifted.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about it. When he said I could not reveal the rate was very less.
But sir, this is one incident when that happened because of COVID. But what about other incidents when it comes to people jumping into this industry, trying to open up a hotel? मैंने बहुत बार देखा है, owners होटल खोल देते हैं and then वो होटल चल नहीं पाते उनसे.
देखिए, to run a hotel, that is a very challenging task. Number one, it's a zero tolerance industry as on date.
Yes.
Where your driver goes to airport to pick up the guests, from there your service starts.
Correct.
What is the cleanliness of the vehicle, behavior of the driver, uniform of the driver, in your car, the newspaper, water bottle. When the guest comes to the hotel, then watchman, bellboy, smooth check-in, then bellboy to the room, then hygiene of the entire property, food, room service. Now people are moving across the globe.
Yeah, of course.
They are having the high expectations. And this is a very competitive industry. So it is not easy. It is not like that you built a hotel and hotel will be run. I can build a hotel, but जैसे बोलते हैं आत्मा, Atma is my staff.
Correct.
They run the entire operation. They are managing the entire show. So I have to get the work done from my staff. So if it is the long term process, and I think I am having around 60% staff, which is with me from the day one. Today, currently, we are having around 120 employees. Out of them, definitely more than 70 employees are with me since the day one. So that is my core strength. My core team is with me since more than 10 years. So they are operating the entire show. If they will not manage the show properly, then I alone cannot do anything. And here turnout ratio is very high.
Yeah.
And replacement cost is very high. That I have to understand. If the person moves out from this organization, if I am appointing another person, then he or she will take minimum 3 to 4 months to adjust this environment and to understand the operations of the hotel. And so we always try to retain the staff. And there are ways how to retain the staff, how to behave with them, and how to give them the respect. They all are coming here not at the cost of their self-respect. For me, the person who is working at the KST and the GM, both are equal for me. Both are having their own role.
Correct.
Everyone is playing their own role. If my sweeper or my room boy is not working properly, then I may be having more trouble than my GM is not working properly.
Yes.
So for me, everyone is having is on importance. So we have to treat the staff accordingly. We have to train them. We have to upgrade them and try to promote the staff from within. If I am having vacancy at higher level, first I will try to look at my existing staff. If required, I may train him or train her. And I will try to promote the staff from within, rather than bringing someone else from the outside and to sit on their head and to control the entire thing. So initially I did the mistakes. I learned all these things after so many years. It is not advisable to bring GM directly from the somewhere and to put here. When I am having the good person and when I feel he or she can manage this particular thing, it is better to promote him or her. So that is the strategy of this hotel. We do not appoint any higher position from outside. We try to promote from within.
So which means anyone who is into another business, want to come into hospitality, should be very perseverance, have patience and do all of this. Then only he should be coming into the industry. Otherwise it will be a failure, complete failure.
You see, it is a service industry. People are having the high expectations.
Yeah.
So you have to be alert. You cannot just build a hotel and say, "Ki, bhai, mera hotel chalega." No, nahi chalega.
Yeah.
You have to set up the entire system. You see, in Ahmedabad, it is hardly power. There is a power failure. Even though we are having the 100% power backup, we need it. Because when summer's function is there, and even during that time, even for 15 minutes also power is not there. And another thing, just to keep the DG set, that is not suffice. You have to ensure that DG set runs where it is required.
Yeah, वो कभी नहीं चला तो दिक्कत.
Where it is required.
Yeah.
So ये industry के अंदर आपका it looks very simple, but it is not simple.
Yeah. It is absolutely puzzled and jumbled and with so many things to do.
And another thing, आपका पास if you are building only rooms, then it will be really very difficult for any hotelier to survive in Ahmedabad. Because it is a very competitive segment. Now you are having the conference halls, good banquet halls. Then you are getting through banquet also you are getting the business of room.
Yeah.
No? And another thing, location. There are many factors which are important while building a hotel. You cannot build hotel anywhere. You cannot build.
This has been happening around. I've seen because we work and we run a company जहाँ पे बहुत सारे owners हैं हम काम करते हैं. Sometimes it happens that people who are into another business, they have disposable income. And this is कि सर आपने होटल खोला था, इसी रोड पे मैं भी एक होटल खोल देता हूँ, तो चल ही जाएगा because आपका चल रहा है. I think जो आपने सबसे पहली लाइन बोली थी प्रशांत, when I got into this industry, मैंने सबसे पहले feasibility study करा to understand यहाँ पे क्या बनाना चाहिए. लैंड था आपके पास, आप एक अपार्टमेंट बना के दे सकते थे. रोड पे, मेन रोड पे था, अपार्टमेंट भी अच्छा बिकता. but you done a feasibility study, understood कि यार यहाँ पे होटल ही बनना चाहिए, and that is the starting of thing. We people don't do feasibility studies when it comes to building up a hotel. abruptly बना दिया, and then they find people to run it. चाहे आप कितने भी अच्छे लोग ले आओ, अगर आपने होटल की स्टडी करी नहीं, यहाँ पे चलना है नहीं चलना है, यहाँ पे बिजनेस आएगा नहीं आएगा. सो आई वाज टॉकिंग टू यू, आपने द्वारका की बात बताई मुझे, वो कितना डेवलप हो रहा है. नाउ यू नो एग्जैक्टली कहाँ एयरपोर्ट बन रहा है, गवर्नमेंट कहाँ पैसा लगा रही है, कहाँ पे लोग आएंगे, एंड नाउ देन वी डू बिल्ड अ होटल, इट विल रन, ऑफ कोर्स गोना रन. ऑल दैट यू रिक्वायर इज ऑल दिस थिंग्स दैट यू हैव टोल्ड, अच्छी सर्विस, अच्छी तरीके से स्टाफ मैनेज करना. ये सारी चीज़ें करने के लिए मेरे ख्याल से किसी भी बिजनेस ओनर को अगर निकल के आना है तो पेशेंस बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि आपको इस होटल को चलाते करीब 10-12 साल हो गए होंगे. इस 10-12 साल में सर पेशेंस एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो बहुत सारे बिजनेस में ज़रूरत नहीं होती, बट इस बिजनेस में सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत.
चाहिए, बिकॉज यहाँ पे जो भी लोग आते हैं, कई बार लोग भी अलग अलग तरह के एक्सपेक्टेशन लेके आते हैं, कई बार लोग गलत भी होते हैं. कई लोगों के व्हेन यू आर हैविंग द फंक्शन तो n number of people are coming, they are staying into the hotel, they are having different egos, small kids are there, they are running here and there, so you have to keep the patience, you cannot tell to anyone. And the first rule of this business guest is always right. That is the thing we teach to our staff, but up to certain extent.
Yeah.
Sometimes guests are taking the wrong advantage of this particular thing. So at that time, we have to draw a line. But by and large, as per my experience, guests are majority of the time, they are right. If the guest is complaining for anything, there is definitely some substance. Without any reason, guests are not complaining.
या थोड़ा एग्जैजरेट हो सकता है पर कुछ तो ज़रूर हुआ होगा.
देखिए ये क्या होता है, staff will always tell कि नहीं, we are all right. Initially I was facing this problem. When there is some problem, when I talk to the staff, the staff बताएगा कि नहीं sir, we did entirely right and the guest is not correct, ये वो. Then after few months when I went deeply, I came to know, no, majority of the time guests are having some issue. And to get the feedback of the guest, that is very important aspect of this particular industry. When guest is checking out, you need to have the feedback from the guest. You need to review all the feedback into the morning meeting. When any banquet function is over, it is the responsibility of the banquet manager or the banquet coordinator to take the feedback of the guest later on the telephone. If required, we can have the video feedback also. So to take the feedback from each and every guest, we try. That is very important, and from their input only we can improve and we come to know where is the problem. Sometimes we are under that impression we are doing great, but there are very small and minor issues which are, and I am having n number of experiences of such kind of thing.
But I think, sir, you said it right. Feedbacks are very, very important. But most of the people right now understand feedback as criticism. So for them, it is like, ये मेरे होटल को खराब बोल रहा है, ये मेरी सर्विस को खराब बोल रहा है. And this starts from the employee itself. और काफ़ी ओनर्स तक ये बात पहुँचती नहीं है. What is happening at the ground level? I stated an example to one of my owners, said that if you open a cigarette का packet and go back, वहाँ पे भी नीचे दिखा रहता for feedback, call on this. ज़ाहिर मतलब ख़राब चीज़ के लिए भी फीडबैक चाहिए लोगों को, so that they can make it better. So आप अपने फीडबैक को कैसे मैनेज करते थे यहाँ पे?
Sir, in fact, you should motivate or you should encourage the guest to give the feedback.
Yeah.
I would like to know the real picture, not the rosy picture. I ask my employee, if there is a single complaint, you should bring to my notice. If I come to know from any other source about this complaint, then you will be taken to the task. I will not spare you. Don't try to hide anything from me. If there is anything wrong, come to me. We are there to improve.
Correct.
We are there to resolve the issue. We will ensure that second time it does not happen. But don't try to hide me. And if you are hiding, and fortunately I am having good network, I am having good grapevine communication system in my own hotel. I am having the communication system from the top to the bottom to the top. So and everyone knows, boss ko pata lag jayega. So number one, they should not hide anything to the top management. कुछ भी हुआ है आप आके बता दीजिए.
Correct.
So that is the one thing. And encourage the guest to give the feedback. कोई जगह पे गलती हुई है, accept to the guest. Try to compensate. Give them give them free dinner. Give them some free other thing. That is the only way we can compensate.
Yeah, of course. Because
It is during my journey. It happened. It is not possible that all hotel can be perfect 100%.
not even Oberoi and Taj are perfect.
No one.
Yeah.
So there will be some issues, and majority of the time there are minor issues, and at that time we should be liberal enough. We should be open-hearted enough to accept that particular fault or thing, apologize, try to compensate, and the things will be resolved, and the guest will be retained, rather than arguing with him or her and try to prove them wrong. That you will lose the guest. You will lose the repetitive business. So, forget about some money. Don't think. We are fortunate I am the proprietor. So, there is no much hierarchy kind of thing. If my GM can contact me on telephone, ka boss, ye hua hai, ye problem hai. Sir, kya kare? If there is some serious kind of issue, then okay, do it. Matter is resolved. We are earning. We are doing reasonably good. अगर कभी 6 महीने में एक बार ऐसा हो गया तो आपने छोड़ दिया, कोई बात नहीं, नो इश्यू. तो you have to do it.
And how did you got from being a hotel owner into being a co-president of association, sir?
You see, in fact, I am treasurer of the HRA, and you see, it is nothing like that. We were having some issue with OTAs. There were some issues, very serious issues with the OTAs, and the entire hotel industry of the Gujarat took over this issue, and we fought against
was
this.
with OYO or the normal OTS?
It was this Make My Treat and Go Ibibo particularly. Their commission were different to the different hotels. Someone was offering them 30%, some was 40%. Then, so according to that, the listing were different, and there were so many other issues. That practices were not healthy practices. So
Not fair practice, basically.
not fair practices. So we fought to these operators, and at that time I came into little limelight, and then I was requested by the existing office bearers to be part of the HRA. So that's how I got into. But to be very honestly, currently we do not have any specific or any serious issues for the hotel industry. And whenever there is some issue, someone is the president. He may, then another 2-3 our Jai Kishan ji hai, 3-4 log hai. We go to the Gandhinagar. We meet the either chief minister or the concerned ministers. We put our case, and normally we get the solution. So we do not have much problems. Now there is a GST. Now, and when there are some minor issues, then there is a Gujarat Chamber of Commerce, then HRA, and we represent the case from our end. So we do not require to meet very often for such kind of thing. And because of this WhatsApp and this social media, it is easy to coordinate with everyone.
Yeah.
So we are not that much active, but when there is a problem, we are very active. And there was some issue regarding the plastic ban. At that time, we again met to the commissioner and other. There were certain issues. So when there is some problem, when we come to know, then we meet, and if required, we call everyone also. Around, I think, since more than 1 year, we have not called all hoteliers for any town hall kind of meeting. So it is not required as such. As such, we do not have any issues with the government.
So basically, association is the representation to the government for all the problem that hotel has, and now it is not. If there is no problem, there is no need of meeting.
You tell me what are the problems the hotel is having with the government. Our electricity duty is very good, very reasonable. During the corona time, we requested them to waive off the fixed charges. Government was kind enough to waive off the fixed charges for sizable period of time, and the hotels have saved from 5 lakh to 50 lakhs rupees more than that amount because of the waiver of the fixed charges. And whatever we represent to the government in an appropriate way with the proper logic. And till now our experience is like that government is always affirmative, always positive, and there is no other nuisance in the Gujarat. You see, we are doing business very comfortably, very peacefully. There is absolutely no issue of hindrance or the no nonsense kind of thing, you can say.
So now you've been an hotelier, and it's been so many long years that you have served to the association also. How do you perceive hospitality now, and what do you think hospitality as a future for India is?
Fantastic. Fantastic. India is still it is a developed country. It is not the entirely developed country. It is a developing country. Sorry. And India is having tremendous potential in terms of tourism, in terms of business. We are having the very good and beautiful natural websites, religious tourism, even medical tourism. India is improving on the infrastructure front also. So currently I find this is a very happening and a very promising sector. But again, what I told you earlier, sector is very promising, but you need to operate it in a professional manner. You just build a hotel, and if you are not operating in a professional way, then no industry can make profit.
Yeah.
There are two things. When entire industry is not doing good and you are not doing good, that is a different story. When the industry is doing good and you are not doing good, then there is a problem with you. It is like that. You need to work professionally.
आई थिंक सर एक छोटा सा मेरा व्यू है इस पॉइंट को लेके. ये इंडस्ट्री है जिसको लोग इंडस्ट्री समझते नहीं है, पहली चीज़. सेकंड इज़ इफ़ यू टॉक अबाउट किसी को ऑटोमोबाइल बिजनेस में जाना होगा तो उसको ये समझना होगा कि मुझे ऑटोमोबाइल सीखना पड़ेगा, इंजन कैसे होता है, एग्जॉस्ट क्या होता है, एंड दे रिस्पेक्ट दैट नॉलेज. इफ़ यू वांट टू गेट इनटू रॉकेटरी, आपको बहुत कुछ पढ़ना पड़ेगा, समझना पड़ेगा. व्हेन इट कम टू हॉस्पिटैलिटी, इनफैक्ट व्हेन इट कम्स टू होटल, लोगों को लगता है कोई भी खोल देगा. रीज़न हम बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हैं. जब हम ये उत्तर प्रदेश में आप बात करो, चाय की दुकान को होटल बोल देते हैं लोग, क्या होटल में चाय पी रहा हो. एंड दैट इज़ द माइंड सेट दैट हैज़ केम इन, जिसकी वजह से इंडस्ट्री को जो रिस्पेक्ट मिलनी चाहिए थी वो नहीं है.
You raised very valid point. In fact, manpower.
Yeah.
Now it is really very difficult to get the skill and the educated manpower to the hotel industry. As on date also. Another blow was during the Corona time. Corona time, many employees of the hotel, they left the industry forever, and they shifted to migrated to other industries.
Someone went to mall, hospitals. Yeah.
So there is another blow, and currently also, you see, when this IHMs and these good hotel management institutes, they passing out students, they are all normally absorbed by the 5-star hotels.
Yes.
And the 3-star and the 4-star and the other hotels, it is very difficult for them to get the good qualified staff basically. So majority, quite percentage of the staff, they are into hotel industry by virtue of their experience.
Yes. Well,
They are joining at as a room boy, and then they become, after a few years they become supervisor, then assistant housekeepers. Similarly in F&B, they come here as a trainee, even in kitchen, Comi 3, Comi 1, DCDP. So by virtue of the experience, they get the promotion. Another thing, when demand is high for the employee, so their turnover ratio is very high. So they are moving from one hotel to another hotel, and they are getting the jump, and it is like kind of, and they are habituated of the kind of the moving from one place to other place.
Yeah.
Now this industry is very tough because F&B staff, housekeeping staff, they normally, when the hotel like us, where there are banquets and the conferences, then the duty hours are little bit extended.
yeah, of course.
Till the function is over, one has to be here. So now function overs at 1 a.m. Again, he has to be here at morning 7 a.m. because he has to handle certain conferences and the breakfast and the certain other thing. We are having the good amount of staff. So, for an example, I am saying he has to come here again into the morning.
Yeah.
So it is difficult. So now in this scenario also we have to maintain them. We have to motivate them.
Yeah.
Like in kitchen, in Punjabi, in the Indian, one he has to prepare daily sabji of paneer. अब ये सोचिए दिस इज ए मोनोटोनस जॉब. समटाइम उसको भी लगता होगा ये क्या यार मैं पनीर बना रहा हूँ yearly. So उसको भी एक he also needs some motivation. He also needs some change. When my staff they are managing per day around 4 to 5 marriages. For them 200 आदमी का function ठीक है यार. So I have to tell them, boss, you may have daily four functions, पर जो आदमी आपके वहाँ function कर रहा है, that is the only function for him or her.
Yes, for him.
So that is the most important function.
उसकी जिंदगी
So आप you cannot take anything lightly, but at the same time आपको it is very easy to tell, but it is very difficult to implement. Hygiene maintain करो, ये करो, back to back functions आ रहे हैं, back to back पूरी तैयारी करो, आपका पूरा जो मेन्यू है उसका प्रिपरेशन है, उसका लिस्टिंग है, फूड टेस्टिंग है, क्लाइंट से कंफर्मेशन है, दैट इज एंटायर SOP.
Correct.
And when you are operating with the SOP, then only you can operate. At the same time, this hotel does not ask for too much of reporting. It's a kind of, we are having the morning meeting or the evening meeting. And during the meeting, we discuss certain issues and we ask for the critical points. We are not asking our employees to bog down to make the n number of reports which normally other hotels are asking. And particularly in sales and other places, we are concerned with the result, we are concerned with the output, we are concerned with the business.
believe on your people.
We are concerned with the business and we believe them, and they are also working accordingly. We are not asking for too much of reporting. Even for our purchase department also, we are having the fixed vendors by and large, and they are free as per that. So they are having reasonable autonomy to work as per their will. In fact, for the front office, I tell them, if you are having the feeling that you own this hotel, you are the owner of this hotel, then only you can face the client and you can deal with them. If my banquet manager, if she is dealing with the client and every time she will tell the client, boss, मैं boss को पूछ के बताती हूँ, let me ask my GM, then the guest will not have interest in her. उसको ऐसा लगेगा कि उसके पास कोई authority नहीं है. Do it, whatever you want to do. Take the decision. You may take decision wrong once or twice, but eventually you will learn and you will take the decision.
Yeah.
And you will convert the guest.
Correct.
वो होता है. पर you have to give autonomy. अगर आप उसके हाथ बांध कर रखते हो तो everything will be on my head. Then it is not possible to manage the entire show.
Correct.
तो देते हैं और करते हैं लोग. People are doing it.
So one last question, I will end this, sir. I want you to give an advice on 1 or 2 lines maximum to someone who wants to come into this business as hotel owners, or someone who is already in this business who want to expand as a hotel owner. What is your advice for them?
We discussed. First thing is, you see, basics of any industry आप नहीं भूल सकते. Like ABC of any industry. तो when you are into the service industry, तो आपका जो एक सर्विस के प्रति आपका अगर एक जो इंक्लिनेशन नहीं है, आप में वो एक कर्टसी, एक पोलाइटनेस और अगर वो एप्टीट्यूड नहीं है, तो यू शुड नॉट कम इनटू द होटल इंडस्ट्री. नंबर 1. सो बिकॉज वो आपका सबसे पहले बेसिक चाहिए. यू शुड नो हु इज़ द क्लाइंट, आप हाउ टू सेटिस्फाई देम, उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. आपको you should have that kind of courtesy and politeness. You may have a good amount of money, but just by pouring money, you cannot be successful hotelier.
बहुत अच्छी लाइन है सर ये.
You cannot be successful hotelier. That is not possible.
Yeah.
So, and another thing, location. Another thing, different source of revenue. You cannot depend only on single source of revenue. You cannot have only banquet. You cannot have only rooms. You should have conference, you should have banquet, you should have rooms, you should have total solution.
Yeah. You should be a hotel complete.
Then only, you see, even we are having in-house laundry, we are having in-house bakery. So, the majority of the thing, if you are having in-house, then only you can serve.
Make perfect.
And another thing, what I told you, we are having the staff quarters. My 50% of the staff is staying with me.
Correct.
So I am very much sure that at midnight also I can serve anyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. And
My
this was very insightful. I think a lot of hotel owner would have to watch this and learn from this that what is required to become a successful hotelier as a owner. Thank you, sir.
You are watching biggest hospitality podcast by a hotelier. Stay tuned. Follow us for more.